Starting the story, a young man finds himself surrounded by knights. He reflects on his father's words, live for the clan. He understood that he shouldn't desire anything and should remain by his brother's side like a shadow. Exhausted from the battle, he kneels. A knight approaches mockingly, what a priceless sight. A knight fighting off the continent's strongest commanders on his own. As expected, a Batman's brother. Very interesting, indeed. And he calls the young man Cyan Bert. Cyan glares at the figure before him, Boris, and silently curses him. Boris smiles at Cyan's failure. Cyan grips his dagger and asks, who made you do this? Was it the Emperor? Boris senses Cyan's terrifying power and remarks, that sickening, black fog. It was just like the rumors said. You are an assassin for Mist. Mist is an organization that is like fog to our Knights of Light. I will report to the higher-ups that I got rid of an impure being that was affiliated with the heathens. Cyan challenges him, sure, go ahead. If you even have a mouth left to do that after this. I guarantee you, you won't even have a tooth remaining after I'm done with you. Boris warns, if you intend to use your secret power, you better give up now. There is a 9-star magic barrier cast here. He thinks to himself, I need to get out of here somehow and reveal the culprit behind this with my brother. Cyan declares, a barrier? I'll just tear it to bits. Suddenly, another voice speaks up, that's enough, Cyan. A man clad in golden armor appears. This surprises Cyan, who is lost in thought. Recalling his father's words, live for the clan. Is what my father always said. Your brother Ashel is by extension the clan. Ashel Vert's success is Cyan Vert's success. Seeing his older brother's arrival, Cyan realizes that the culprit behind this was Ashel. As Ashel approaches Cyan's position, Cyan has truly given up. Ashel remarks, you seem confused that I'm here. They exchange a look in the dire situation. Cyan questions, what is the meaning of this? His brother responds, Cyan, you've carried out your duties well. For the clan, for the people, and for me. Hearing that, Cyan truly didn't want to believe it. Ashel said, therefore, I'm just trying to take a burden off your shoulders. Cyan questioned, I don't understand. Did I do something wrong? Ashel interrogated back, wrong? That ominous fog. You're nothing more than a murderer. I can't even call you human anymore. Hearing such offensive words from his own kin, Cyan remained silent and somber. Ashel yelled, you fooled us for long enough. Can you really say that you don't know your sins? At this moment, Cyan inwardly questioned himself, murderer. My sins? Cyan, now infuriated, exclaimed, what the hell is he talking about? The succession fight within the Empire. The Demon King army's raid. The war to unify the continent. I helped you achieve all that you began. Because serving you was my life. Cyan slammed his fist into the ground in anger, but now, you're abandoning me. I work like a dog for 20 years under you. It doesn't matter if my entire body breaks down. I will give everything I have right now. If it means I can destroy you. Cyan's body emanated a dark magical aura, carrying his rage. The aura spread, instilling fear in all surrounding soldiers. He still has that much mana left? That's impossible. That's no human. Cyan rebuked them, how silly. The hero is trying to kill his younger brother because he's afraid. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? Ashel's face twisted in anger as he glared at Cyan. Cyan then exerted all his strength to attack his brother. He declared, just once. Once is enough. If I can stab his weak point so that he can't regenerate. Cyan swiftly circled behind Ashel and launched a direct attack on his back. But at that moment, a shield was created to protect Ashel, angering Cyan as his attack was thwarted. Boris, standing beside Ashel, was supporting him. Without hesitation, Ashel immediately pierced Cyan with his holy sword and said, you poor bastard. I wanted to do you the favor of getting you a painless death since you are my brother, but you have shown your true colors. I knew that was what you were from a start. A demon. It's a good thing I never trusted you to begin with. Shocked by his brother's words, Ashel showed no mercy as he kicked Cyan off his sword and turned away, leaving Cyan to wait for death. Cyan lay on the cold ground, blood flowing from him. In that moment, he cursed, damn it. Is this my end? What a foolish life I've led. Cyan's eyes gradually closed, but something compelled him. His body seemed to act on its own, charging straight towards Ashel with fury. With blank white eyes, he screamed for Ashel's death. Before the dagger could come close to touching Ashel, the holy sword struck him away. A surge of energy from the holy sword enveloped the man's body. But something strange happened now. A figure was trying to call him. Young Master Cyan. Cyan suddenly woke up, his body drenched in sweat. Before him was a maid, a girl with an annoyed face saying, "How long do you intend to sleep for? Get it together, you need to get ready, young master." Cyan stared at the maid calling herself Emily, and asked, "Why are you here?" Cyan felt something was off. It has been almost 20 years since I last saw her. She's the same as the last time I saw her. The maid now looked at Cyan as if you were crazy. "What are you talking about? Are you still dreaming?" Cyan looked around and remarked, "This place. I remember. It's the room I used to live in when I was younger. The furniture arrangement is the same too." He covered his face realizing, "Wait, am I back to being a child?" Interrupting his thoughts, Emily called, "Young Master Cyan. You're stalling for time because you don't want to go for training, huh? Make up your mind and get going." Cyan didn't understand what Emily said and asked, "Training? What training?" After a while, he could understand the issue, Vert Clan Duchy. "I'm certain. I'm back in the duchy in the past. Is this like the thing where your life flashes before your eyes before death? I remember. 27 years ago. Foundation year 985, March 1st. It was a year before I entered the academy. Every year, the duchy holds a dual training session. My father, who is the owner of the duchy, Duke Vert, attends the event, making it a very big deal. My opponent is Kranz Vert. He is the same age as me. My half-brother. His mother, Margaret Erzeth, is the Duke's wife. Thanks to that, Kranz received a lot more attention despite the fact that we were both the youngest. I was a bastardized son, and after being mocked in this fight, I became a laughingstock to everyone. Do not try anything. This duel was the reason my father stopped paying any attention to me too. Cyan whispered to himself, "It's fine. I just need to win." The maid then whispered to him, "Why don't you just surrender instead?" Cyan sighed, "Ha, even a maid is looking down on me." He drew his sword and felt, "It's just a rapier, but it's so heavy. My strength is the same as when I was this age. This sensation, it's definitely not a dream, nor is my life flashing before my eyes. I've never even heard of a magic spell that is capable of creating such strong illusions either. Am I really back in the past?" Standing opposite Cyan now, who is my half-brother, he sneers, "You didn't run off, huh?" Cyan, indifferent, still ponders, "Then maybe I can change the future?" The master of the house, also Cyan's father, signals for the duel to commence. His brother rushes forward and mocks, "Where are you looking, you idiot?" With a smug smile, he swings his sword towards me. Observing him, Cyan evaluates, "What? Is he a snail?" Utilizing skills honed over time, Cyan gracefully sidesteps the strike. This catches his brother off guard, and his attack misses. Enraged by the miss, he curses at me, dodging like a coward, huh? As his sword dirties, Cyan simply flicks his own sword, knocking the blade from his brother's hand, then delivers a swift kick to his leg. The pain contorts his brother's face as he falls to the ground, crying out. Both the master and mistress of the house are surprised by this turn of events. Looking at him with the eyes of a predator, Cyan thinks, "Now if I just put my sword up to his throat, this duel is over." But that's not enough. When I was this age, Kranz always bullied me as his form of entertainment. That bullying continued in the academy too. Remembering his past, Cyan seeds, so I need to really stomp him down so that he can never try to do anything to me again. In this life, I will now pave a path on my own, for myself. The outcome of the duel is Kranz's defeat. The Duke orders for me to see him, even clearing his schedule. Was my victory in the duel that impressive? I even have a high-class knight, Yulkin, who was directly affiliated with the Duke, escorting me. Walking down the corridor, I encounter the mother of the brat from earlier and her maid. Cyan silently speculates, seems like she was talking to him about her son. Kukik, she looks like she stepped in shit. Inquiring about Kranz's condition, I ask, "Is Kranz okay, madam?" Furious, she retorts, "You have the audacity to ask such a question after beating your brother like that? How thick-skinned of you." Disdainfully, I leave and remark, "That's how duels are. See you." She doesn't stop there, insulting both my mother and me. This is why bastards shouldn't be treated like legitimate children. Like mother, like son. It's all because the mother is some dirty whore. You should be on the streets begging for food instead. You dare to put up a fight? You should know to be grateful. With a look as if preparing to kill her, she has crossed the line. Should I kill her? That thought crossed Cyan's mind. Should I just kill her? But reason pulled him back. No, I know better than anyone how to make her suffer. I'm going to torture her. Slowly, like painstakingly slowly. With a calm demeanor, he questioned the lady again. "You know I'm going to the academy as well along with Kranz, right?" What exactly is your point? I'm sure you want your son to graduate with his limbs intact. Right? I guess you're not that worried about him. Huh, Duchess? Understanding Cyan's implication, the Duchess became enraged. You vulgar piece of shit, how dare you? Just as she raised her hand to strike Cyan, the knight by her side intervened. I apologize, Duchess. The Duke called for him with urgency. So, I don't think we can delay anymore. We'll get going now. Fuming but unable to act, the Duchess stormed off. Cyan smiled inwardly. The Duke's orders are absolute. I'm being protected by the guard knight who was given that order. A knight who won't submit even to the Duke's wife. How nice and reliable. Arriving at the master's chamber, they knocked, and the master allowed them in, saying, "Come in." Facing his father, Cyan greeted him. From Cyan, the youngest child of the house of Bert, "Greetings, father." He thought, it's been almost 15 years since we met one-on-one. The master turned to Cyan and gestured for him to sit down. Duke Willius Vert, the great feudal lord of Belias, a western feud of the Yushif Empire. The world calls him by a different name, guardian of the continent. The hero who stopped the invasion of demons for a long time with the help of his remarkable magic power and worldly wisdom. This man shouldered a responsibility no one compelled on him until his very death in battle against the invasion of the Demon King's army. All you wanted was there to be peace in the entirety of the continent. But my memories of him are different. As a man you utilized his free will to decide on living his whole life serving others. A stupid man, Cyan reflected. With a serious expression, his father asked, "Your eyes precisely followed the sword and dodged it." Cyan had to pay attention to what his father was saying. He continued, "The moment Kranz ran at you, you looked straight at the path of the swinging sword and turned your body to dodge it. When did you learn how to wield a sword?" Cyan evaluated, as always. He's sharp. And he answered his father's question, "I wouldn't say I learned it. I practiced every night on my own." His father remarked, "From what I know, you've never had any interest in swordsmanship. Why did you hide such excellent skills?" Cyan replied, "I didn't really want to catch others' attention. Despite that, you really went all out at taking down Kranz. But, wasn't what you did after that unnecessary?" His intention behind that question seems pretty perusing. Is he trying to get a feel of what I'm capable of? I wanted to prove myself. Prove? Prove what? That I'm better than Kranz. Even though we share the same blood. Which is also what I concluded as the meaning of the duel. What you said made your father laugh and he praised you. Excellent. A clear and concise answer that shows off your level-headedness. I didn't know you were so talented. I'm delighted. You'll become a great, reliable support for the Ashel one day. When the name Ashel was mentioned, Cyan froze, recalling images from before regression. He thought, why would I become his helper? It's the same as always. He's still as obsessed as ever with Ashel. His father continued, "It's not exactly a trophy, but I want to reward you for this duel. If you want something, you can tell me." Cyan thought, then I'll destroy everything. Everything that Ashel fucking tried to do. He smirked with implied meaning and replied, "What I want." Immediately after that, the scene shifts to the main character's maid, who is frantically confirming, "You said you want to enter the battlefront?" "Yeah, that's right. Nothing's certain yet, though. This is driving me crazy." Are you out of your mind? Do you have any idea what kind of place that is?" At this point, she imagines a scene of a horde of monstrous beasts and says, "It's swarming with wicked and terrifying demonic beasts all over the place. Belias, the western feud of the Yushif Empire. This is the only place in the entire continent to be called a battlefront. Even in that, Lamia Valley, that can be called the front line, is a ferocious battlefield where the battles with demons have been going on for hundreds of years. Because of that, my father, who stubbornly opposed it from the start, gave me a condition. To become worthy of going to Lamia Valley within 1 month. I don't know on what basis he will decide my worth yet. I just gotta raise my physical strength as much as possible in the time I've been given. I'm still weaker than my peers. At least I'm lucky enough to have the same combat sense as I had before regressing, and a little amount of magic I sense from within me. If I train this body as per my capability, I can definitely make good use of it. Great, I'm going to start training right from today." Suddenly, at this moment, the door of the room bursts open. A voice calls out Cyan. A woman appears with an angry face staring straight at the main character. Cyan recognizes her as Alice. After that, Alice rushed forward, grabbing Cyan by the collar, shaking him and scolding, "Are you crazy? I heard you asked father to send you to the battlefront." He tried to calm her down, stuttering, "Hey Alice, let me go first. It looks like defeating Kranz got to your head. This won't do. Alice demanded, come with to the rooftop. Now, on the castle wall, Cyan faced Alice. Now, we start when we draw our swords, she said seriously. I'll let you go to the battlefront if you can endure my attacks for 3 minutes, Alice stated firmly. Cyan asked in return, do you really have to go this far, Alice? Alice replied, I'm not hearing any of that. Just answer one question. Are you after the family's title? Cyan thought, that's why she's doing this. I'm not the slightest bit interested in that. Drawing her sword, she said, so you are, huh? Draw your sword, Cyan pleaded, it hasn't even been half a day since my duel with Kranz. I'm tired, this is exhausting, the whole day was chaotic. Not allowing Cyan much time to think, Alice immediately attacked. But Cyan, not as weak as his sister thought, met no way, he blocked that? He's a 10-year-old though? Are you really trying to go all out against your brother who's 7 years younger? After the collision, they separated. Alice, surprised, thought, a rapier's has a very light blade, yet he cleanly parried off my longsword's attack. Was he just lucky this time? You got better intuition than I thought, huh my dear Cyan? Oh, I'm screwed, eh Alice? Then Alice resumed her rapid and aggressive attacks against Cyan. As one of Alice's strikes came down from above, Cyan tried to defend himself. At that moment, he executed a technique to twist his sword, redirecting its attack towards Alice. Alice was very surprised, but it didn't faze her. Quickly, she knocked aside the sword and stepped back. Cyan also stepped back, thinking, that could have been really bad. Had I not twisted my sword midway through, I would have killed her. Missed swordsmanship skill, thick fog, mostly consists of skills meant to kill immediately. It's hard to fight without killing because my strength is lacking. How much is remaining of the 3 minutes? I'm compensating for my weak strength by imbuing the sword with my mana. But I'm almost at my limit. In anger, Alice began to chant a spell to enhance her sword's power. Earth, wind, come to me and act as my sword. Cyan was surprised and afraid. 6-star magic? Alice's entire sword was now embellished in mana from multiple elements. Cyan thought fearfully, is she trying to kill me? It's over. I can just tell by the look in her eyes. Alice now seems to have lost her will to a child's domination. Repeating in her mind, I can't lose. Cyan, fearful and thinking, I'll fall out of the castle even if I were to block that. I'll just have to trust that this will work. After carefully considering, Cyan rushes towards Alice. Before Cyan, Alice is gathering mana into her sword, causing it to soar high into the sky. Cyan prays in her mind, please come out, Yulkin. Just as Alice's dangerously large sword is about to touch Cyan, the knight of the family appears, demanding that everything stop. He deflects Alice's attack with his sword and lifts Cyan with his other hand. The force of the collision lights up the night sky. With a serious expression, he warns, Miss Alice, you're being too harsh against a much younger opponent. Cyan sighs in relief, I was wondering when he was going to appear. Alice, now sobered up, immediately hugs Cyan and apologizes, oh. Sorry, Cyan, I must have lost my mind for a second there. I just wanted to stop you from going to the battlefield. I was too obsessed with that. Cyan thinks cheerfully, this is very like her. She always tries so hard with everything. He adds, my sister was the elite of the elites who got an S in all subjects. In the Royal Academy where all the talented children gathered, whether they be talented in swordsmanship, magic, or other fields of study. On top of that, her beauty was astounding, so people called her God's child. From a young age, she was trained in swordsmanship. She was mentioned as being the future guardian of the continent, along with the oldest son, Ashilbert. But not long after joining the Knights of Light, she was killed. I missed you, Alice. I'll protect you this time. Alice turns to him and says, now that I think about it, weren't you the Duke's guardian knight? But the Duke just left for the war. He responds, I'm carrying out the Duke's orders to protect the young master for a while. Although I couldn't tell you because I was supposed to carry that out in secret. Cyan thinks, I felt his presence ever since I left the Duke's office. Would he not have shown himself if I continued to not notice him? But why did father tell Yulkin to secretly? Sensing her baby brother's feelings, Alice smiles happily, he's still like a little kid. The next day, Alice returned to the academy. Apparently, she had come back just for a bit to see father before her graduation. At this time, Cyan is struggling to push to the 9th thing, trying for the 10th but unable to. I felt that I needed to become stronger, so I've been focusing on strength training for the past 2 weeks. But 10 is my limit. I've only been hitting a wall for the past 2 weeks. I was pretty confident in my strength. I want to go back, I need a solution. My mate Emily entered and said, "Young master, a package arrived from Miss Alice." I confirmed with joy, but Emily, with a disgusted and pinched face, said, "What's this? It smells so disgusting." I thought, it's hellhound's blood that I asked her to get for me. It's a rare item that can only be found in Lamia Valley. But I guess the rumors that it's in the black market were true. The blood of demonic beasts is considered poisonous because of its sickening smell, as well as the feeling of burning upon consumption, but it actually permanently increases the mana and strength of the person who consumes it. Most people think that this is just a false rumor, but I know that it's true from my past lives experience. Young master, are you really going to drink that? Yeah, don't worry, Emily. I'm the only person who was able to adapt to your cooking skills. I can still remember the first time. Was it mushroom soup? My heart stopped for a moment after a single bite of that thing. Compared to bat soup, this is. After finishing it, I slammed it down on the table and shouted loudly, "It's good." Then I called, "Emily. Yes, I'm gonna go for a walk. Now, let's see if that worked." Now, at a forest, I thought, it's been a while since I came here. I've been waiting for this day for the last 2 weeks. The moment when Yulkin is not here for his regular reports. He keeps following me around. It's annoying. I came to this place often when I wanted to be alone. Then one day, Ashel received a divine revelation from the god of light, Lumendel. It said that an ancient temple is hidden somewhere in these mountains. I didn't really fully believe it, but there was really a place where the flow of mana was concentrated. Of course, the divine revelation has yet to come. Looks like it's around here. So only I know about this right now. I pressed my hand down on the ground, using mana to transmit underneath. The surrounding area collapsed. I laughed joyfully, thinking, Ashel, I bet you can't even imagine what I'm doing right now. Seems like it's about here. When looking down, there's a staircase going down, and at the end of the staircase is a light. I decided, let's go. Thank you all for watching our video today. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing to our channel and turning on notifications so you won't miss any future uploads. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below about what you'd like to see next. See you in the next video.